So hello and welcome to episode, let me get this right, 6?
Episode 6.
I'll say episode 5, just in case Baz needs to edit it.
No, it's episode, I think it is episode, it's episode 6. Yeah.
Episode 6 of the Mortgage Mythbuster podcast. We are in the process of building an intro, and a bit later on I might even show you the ideas that Baz has been putting towards us, because it's definitely comical. It's tough. So when you listen to these later on down the line, you'll appreciate that we might have an intro. This part of the podcast where I'm just going to say the same thing every week should be pre-recorded, and then we'll move on to this part, which is, and last week we had our episode 5, which was the myth we busted was my mortgage advisor is better than yours.
Yeah, and we had Faz from Infinite Financial on. We busted it up. My thoughts initially were like, it's a cutthroat industry where everyone's kind of against each other and stabbing each other in the back, and just kind of, you're keeping as much of the market as you can to yourself. Everyone does things the same way, but after talking to Faz, it was obvious that everyone seems to have their own personal different styles, but the same end result, and that him especially and yourself just seem to be more concerned with the end product and the customer getting a good service than just lining your own pockets, if you see what I mean. You'd rather someone get good advice than the wrong advice from you.
Yeah,
you see what I mean.
And I think when you the problem is when you first start out is you want to take every customer that knocks on the door, you want to take them through the process, and it doesn't matter if that customer is actually your target audience. You just want to help them, and sometimes you can actually go against you, because nothing you do will ever be able to get the 5-star rating that you'd expect, because they just wanted a different type of personality, different process,
different answer.
So like, just like your industry that you're in, you won't suit every single person that you do
most
your designs for.
99.9%. becreativecompany.co.uk.
So you get it in early.
Get it in early.
We'll build that in the intro. It'll be subliminal behind the drum beat, I'm sure.
So like for me, exactly the same. I think I'd rather someone, don't get us wrong, you might be thinking, I can't believe that someone else has done this well, but sometimes you've got to just think you can't always be the best or the key person for everything. You know, there's other people that know more. You're ideal for the military side of it. If it comes to someone who's an ex-Bobby, they're going to know more about police mortgages than you, kind of thing. And I think you've got to just sometimes think of the end game and the customer, don't you?
Yeah, we've just got to evolve and make sure that we're fitting all, but not trying to fit people that we clearly wouldn't fit with them. So today's myth, presuming Baz is happy that we busted that previous one.
I think that was busted. Yeah, I think it was good. It was a nice conversation.
Today's myth, which I'd completely disagree with from the off, is that mortgage advisor. What is the myth? Mortgage advisors do all the work. I don't think that's a myth. I think it's a fact.
I think it's going to be highly disputed. I think we might need more than one guest on this.
Yeah, so bring in the real worker behind our mortgage advisors at PGS, and we have the lovely Adam Gorse. Hello, Adam.
Hello.
Hello, Adam.
Hello.
Adam, tell us in 30 seconds what you pretend to do at PGS.
That's a good one. So I primarily do mortgage applications, submit mortgage applications on behalf of advisors, decision principals, even do a little bit of sourcing for the advisors as well, if they're too busy or too bad.
Application.
All eyes on Paddy.
Basically an advice dog bodies. That's pretty much what it is.
So basically, from what I've gleaned of it, seeing you, like Paddy will saunter in and he'll sit down and go on his computer and check some emails, walk around, have a coffee and stuff, whereas you walk around and everyone else, especially yourself in the office, is sat head down, really plugging away, doing work or on the phones.
Pretty much.
So these are basically, you're basically the face of it. This is what I'm gleaning from it now. You're the face of it, Adam, and all the rest of the staff.
If we were going to get like dead right, then I'll be the face of it. I've got my advisors, which is Chris, Charlotte, and Joe. they would be the advisors. And the paraplanner role, which is Adam, is basically a mortgage advisor without putting their name to it, because the responsibility lies with Chris, Joe, or Charlotte.
So for me, then, just to interject very quickly, so advisor is the face-to-face. Is that just the face-to-face person in effect, or are you the?
So I'll take a step back. So I have a chat with you. You tell me everything. I then make a recommendation off the back of that chat to say this is the mortgage I can get you. You say, go ahead, Paddy.
Yeah.
That's where you think I'm fantastic, because probably if it's a decision in principle, in an ideal world, 15 minutes later you get an email saying done. And you think, wow, Paddy is awesome. But then you'll look at the signature of the email that's sent and it'll be Adam. Okay, so from that movement of the conveyor belt, it's gone down to Adam. He's then done the work that I haven't done, which is taken all my scribbles, we're talking scribbles, my voice clip, my notes, my recommendation, to be able to then put that into a system to any of the million lenders that we use. Slight exaggeration, but there's many lenders that we use. So Adam would jump on, key that application. He couldn't just monkey say, monkey do. He can't just say, put in a figure because I've done it. There might be calculations to do from pay slips, looking at credit reports. So he does all the hard work.
Is this where the niche things come in as well? Like when you've said, you know that certain lenders would help out certain needs in effect. So is Adam well versed in that kind of side of it? Would you say? Are you guiding Adam as to what you think? Do you have your little spin? Like, are you working closely together? How does it?
How long have you been in the industry, Adam?
About 10 years altogether now.
So day one, he would have probably did what he was told, and as time grew with
he doesn't now.
no, sorry. That's a good snippet. What I mean is, it's going to come from experience. So let's say an example: we go to Halifax, we key in an application, we hit a brick wall, big red button pops up. You can't do this because of that. So later down the line, that same scenario comes again, because it does, doesn't it? Yeah. So Adam would highlight that and say, well, actually, we've recommended Halifax, but this person's hair colour's green, therefore Halifax don't do green, and we're going to hit that brick wall. So Adam, what he would do is he would liaise with the advisor, go back to the drawing board, do the research. So sometimes Adam's morning can be ringing 5 different lenders to get their take on an application. So he really does do everything the advisor would do. If I was a one-man band, I'd do it all.
Yeah.
We submit nearly 60, 70 mortgage applications a month, and we probably do about double that in appointments. Okay, so we wouldn't physically have the time to be able to do that, then follow it through and do the application. So we have a great team behind us, and that's why I insert Adam as a paraplanner. If I'm on holiday, you call me and say the loan amount's changed, I need to increase that loan amount, we need to send new illustrations out and things like that, then Adam is there on hand to work as part of me as my paraplanner of the broker. So he'll have specialist logons that will allow him to be within my sourcing system to do things that I can't do when I'm just not there. So Adam is in effect being a mortgage advisor, but he is never putting his name to the application, and I've got to trust Adam that everything he does is up to scratch.
Yeah, so it's got to be a lot of trust. If you're signing it off, there's got to be a lot of trust in your paraplanner. So that leads me to, is it almost like a PA where he is your paraplanner, or is he paraplanner for your other advisors? Adam?
Bit of everyone, really. So we do bits for Paddy, bits for Chris, bit for Charlotte. We're sort of not really linked to just one advisor, really. It's a bit a case of sort of just doing whatever's needed at the time.
Right.
I mean, it might be that. So Chris, for example, has got 10 back-to-back appointments, so you can't do any research at all. You might say, would you mind doing some basic research? So I'll do that, and vice versa with Charlotte and with Paddy as well. So it's not just linked to just one advisor.
It must be a lot of. It must be quite hard. First of all, prioritising.
Yeah.
And time management. I bet it must be you dragged. It's almost like when you work for Paddy, isn't it? It's like when I'm getting voicemails and he's dragging from one thing to it must be. In all seriousness, it must be hard for you to get your head down onto one job. Like Paddy was saying there, you could be ringing around loads of different advisors, but then next thing something else is dropped on your desk, and so it must be fairly sporadic, jumping from one job to another, is it? Or?
It can be, but at the same time, we've got a system in place now where it should be quite slick. So we have, we've got diary systems. We've got our own internal system which we use. So we know what's coming and what. I mean, things do pop up. Issues, mistakes, things like that. We need to sort out. But it's it can be difficult. Like, there are some days where you feel completely swamped. Then other days you're like, it's not too bad at all. It's just flying through. It's a nice, easy day. I say easy.
Feast or famine, then, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
So, just touching there on the system, has that made, since Paddy invested in getting the system as close to finished as it is now, and as much of a like sort of an internal management system, is that helped you a lot?
Oh, 100%. I mean, you go back prior to the system. I mean, we probably wasn't as busy before the system came into place, but you think now, how did we actually manage?
It felt busier, didn't it?
Yeah.
The system, it can be as busy as it wants to be. How many apps have we got to go today, roughly?
I think it's about 8 or 9 today.
About 8 or 9. But they don't have to get done today. Every single person wants theirs done today. But there'll be days when there's none. We just go in order, we go through. Whereas when it's paperwork, that paperwork's messy, it's all over the place, it's there, it's in a different drawer, it needs to move. And I think the system's allowed Adam to plan his week, pull in his resources. Adam's role is, paraplanner is Adam's kind of skill. That's what he's done all his life. But his role has evolved with the company to the point of being like the business development manager, where we needed that external resource for going out and liaising with the estate agents that we work with, and because you've got to basically say thanks for all the stuff that they're sending. You've got to be there to give them a bit of a, I suppose, coaching to say what to look out for, what we do, so they understand what our time scales are. But also then you've got the other side of training and development, which Adam does great with. And like you bring a new starter in, Chris, never touched a mortgage in his life, and Adam can train him up. You've got Bobby Joe, never touched mortgages in their life, Adam trains them up. And that was the way that Adam was going, along the lines of kind of progressing and building up with the company. And you wouldn't be able to do that if you weren't the best paraplanner, because paraplanning isn't something you can teach, you learn on the job. But learning how to do the basics is about a 6-month task. There's not many jobs you start that you could say you're going to be classed as a not an expert, but I'm up and running. That takes literally 6 months on the job doing it, because you need 6 months to come across every scenario. And that's where Adam's stepping in, and we might as well say, but Adam's leaving us, aren't you?
I am indeed.
How long have you been here?
6 years, nearly.
6 years. Adam's moving on. We're losing him. But I think what's a nice way to talk about it is, like, I did the same thing as what Adam's doing. So I was in the industry for doing a similar job to Adam, case management, paraplanning, broker support. And I disappeared off. I wanted to do something different. The financial industry, no matter what gets thrown at it, it's quite repetitive. And I think that for you, it's just a time to try something different, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. I think 10 years, 10 years is a long time, I think, in any industry anyway. Yeah. And I think the time's just now come where I think it's time to try something new. I mean, I turned 30 in January. It's a new decade. It's like time for
midlife crisis.
Basically. Yeah, basically, yeah, just a bit earlier.
But it's good. But that's good. I mean, how can I hold them back and like say no? We're going to leave the door like that. Just leave it.
Is that okay? Yeah, sorry, doors clicking in the background. It's not someone cocking a pistol or anything like that. Making Adam stay.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, I mean, I get it. I think you just got to like kind of work with that. We've had COVID, and then we've had obviously whatever's. Go on, Baz, give that a bit of a shot. See if we can give it a slam. Right, that might work. You can also lock it like if that.
Lock him in.
Beautiful.
That's it.
I should have videoed that for one of the snippets. Anyway,
yeah, we'll cut it out.
So we've got you've got Adam has had interruptions to his kind of journey within PGS, where if everything went well and we didn't hit COVID and we didn't have the interruption to the mortgage market because of the interest rate hikes and things like that, then everything was always going hunky dory. But it doesn't mean that other part of the industry still, because you would have always. It would have always had to come back to you're the chief paraplanner, and therefore, if someone's off sick, if someone's whatever, then who we're going to call?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I completely get it, and I fingers crossed, like it works really well. The good thing for us as a company is Adam's training Alice. Adam's already trained Alice, and he's working with it, and he's kind of helped us set up every single training manual. And I'm sure Adam wouldn't mind if I need to pick his brains about something.
I mean, this is just me coming at it from my external angle, but I can see the relationship that you especially have with Adam, and I can't see him being a stranger. So I hope not.
You don't know me.
Yeah, straight out and run away.
Yeah.
I understand that from working with him, right? Yeah. But I think, I mean, it's a testament to Adam's character. And
the good thing is,
well,
we're losing him. We're losing him. Like, it's like you're losing your best striker on the pitch, or maybe he's a central midfielder holding it all together.
Who's doing it all, yeah.
But he's not going to play for our rivals down the road. You know what I mean? So, like, you've got to give that up in terms of like, look, go and try something else. Also taking another big step in his life as well, like moving in with his partner and stuff like that. Like, it's a no-brainer. But he works from home. He's one of the main staff that continue to work from home, and when I say work from home, he works in a different county as well, don't you? So it's a whole different life out there.
With that then, it's all done remotely in effect, and you're calling people rather than going into a branch and talking to someone, obviously. So you're calling people, you're doing that remotely, you've got the system, so it has allowed you to do the majority of your work from home.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, the system is, everything is online. Like, literally everything's on the computer. So you can access it pretty much anywhere in the world, really. I know I could go and live in Spain if I wanted to.
Is that the next step?
If I wanted to, yeah.
You could, but it is very much head down, and you're in your own world for 50 minutes, isn't it?
But you'll have the pressures of the advisors as well, won't you? Surely they're wanting... I imagine with them, they want their workload, in effect, the mortgage, signed off, done and dusted, customer happy, so they'll be pushing you to get your bid done to make sure their bid's signed off, in effect. So there is pressures there that you have to deal with as well.
It's a funny one, because I might be in the owner of the business, but we will never be kind of trying to put Adam under pressure where he's going to see that as this is a pain in his backside. Yeah. Because like, you appreciate so much of what he's doing, that it doesn't matter. You know it's going to get done.
So in an ideal world, if you had enough hours in the day,
are a power planner that want to progress, which is quite common, then obviously you lose them for the power planner to go into the mortgage.
So is there a reason for that? Is there a reason why you wanted to stay as the power planner, or is it?
If I'm being completely honest, I did the advisor exam 3 times, I think it was, and I failed it 3 times. As best it was. It was just, it wasn't far from anything, but after the 3rd attempt, I was just like, do you know what?
Yeah,
I'm happy just to carry on doing what I was doing at the time.
You turn into Paddy as well, which isn't a good thing, is it? So, do you ever clash then with you? So you've wrote down your notes of what you think would be the best sort of course of action. Adam looks at it. Do you ever then think, actually, there's another way we could go with it? Or do you ever have a difference of opinion and stuff? Or is it literally just, boom, pass to Adam, he does what I've said? Do you know what I mean? Is it kind of...
I wouldn't say clash.
But difference of what you think it'd be easy, or a different lender would be better, or something like that.
It'd be good to get Laura in when we get Laura in for a podcast, because the clash word probably works better there, because Laura is the person who will be sending that particular bit that you've highlighted, like a bank statement with a misdirect debit payment on it.
Yeah.
Laura would then know that that's going to be a waste of everybody's time. So she will say, at that point, this can't go to that lender.
Okay.
And that's as far as it goes. It goes back to the advisor, and then probably go back to Adam to resource the next alternative.
So it's like a flow chart.
It's like
back up.
Laura would see that as, right, okay, this is a pain in the backside, because it's already gone at that stage when it hits Laura. So for Laura, it's she's got to do that work twice. If you put it to Halifax and it doesn't go with Halifax, and you move to NatWest, you've got to do Laura's job, which is really extensive in terms of compliance-wise, twice. Yeah, so that to her is a pain in the backside. With Adam, when he spots it, it's more of a, thanks Adam for spotting that, let's change direction, because Laura would give us a right slap on the wrist, but also the customer would then be confused because we haven't got right first time, and that's what it's all about, right first time. I've got a couple of questions for Adam. The first one being a paraplanner, and I need you to be as honest as you can be on this side.
Okay.
Being in the paraplanner, what's the worst part about your job? Go on.
Probably just the amount of red tape and regulations there is. Like, I know it is the industry anyway. It's what it is, but I think a lot of it is there's just so much red tape that we've got to jump through, and it's not just a case of black and white. There's so many different quirks and lenders systems quirks. That's another thing, and it could be that a lender's system is down. It's something silly as that, it's not working that day, but you've got 5 applications to go. And then
that's knocking you back.
It knocks us back, and then you've then got the next day there could be another 10 applications that are ready to go, and then other ones from the previous day haven't gone, and it's just then it puts a lot of pressure on us to get the backlog sorted, because it's all right telling clients Santander's not working today, for example, but to them they don't care. They're like, we want it on now, because that's no benefit to them. And because they get a lot of pressure from estate agents, so it's a big knock-on effect for us. So I think a lot of that is when lenders aren't working properly, or an application gets declined for silly reasons, like credit score might be that the lender's been extra tight.
So would you then go to a different lender, or would you pass that back to Paddy?
It's always passed back to the advisor, because they need the final say at the end of the day. It might be that it could be, for example, Paddy spoke to a client, and it might be not a problem case, but there might be that the credit score or credit might be an issue. So Paddy might sort of choose 3 or 4 best lenders. So he might say to clients, right, we'll try Halifax first. If they don't go, then we'll try Nationwide, or so on and so forth. So then he might say to us, right, if it didn't pass them, try that. So it's almost doing the job. Could be 2, 3, 4 times, but but it is what it is. But then we should allow enough time to do that anyway. If we know that sort of case is coming in. Rather than an hour.
I take it it's all pivotal on having the right information from Paddy or from the other advisors.
Yeah.
To keep so your hands aren't tied, and so you're aware, like you say, you can plan more time in for the problem case.
Yeah. So you're seeing external things out of your control.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
And it all goes back to the red tape that Adam's on about as well when he mentions that. There's a lot of that in the industry, quite rightly, but what they fail to realise is the detriment that has to the customer on a day-to-day basis.
So it's there for the right reasons.
It's there for the right reasons, but sometimes the customer can miss out on a rate because they haven't, let's say, sent a scanned copy of a passport, scanned copy of a pay slip yet, because a photo isn't an acceptable format.
Right.
Something like as simple as that. To you, that would be madness. Because especially with what you do, you could, if you're going to doctor a document, you could do it on either of those 2 formats. But
not that
there's plenty reasons why it's a good thing. But what I mean is that it's we're all about the customer, and I think a lot of the red tape is there for compliance to protect if that ever goes wrong, that we're okay.
Yeah.
And I think in other industries, there's an element of the taking of the risk and just landing and giving your own opinion. So there are times where we would honestly have to justify a lot, and I'm talking an hour worth of documentation and things to say if there was a document like that if it was going to cost the client money, we can put our name to it. But I think that's what Adam means, is that it's kind of like he's got to carry mine, Chris, Charlotte, and Joe's responsibilities, because when he's deciding to make that commitment, he's got to have asked us.
Yeah.
And that comes with time and experience, and he's got to know, just as simple as putting TBC in a form on the lender's website, he's got to put TBC, even as simple as putting that, as opposed to going back to the client who isn't available till 5 p.m. when the product is closed. Then he's just got to take that hit for us.
So for someone like me, how long? Say everything's gone well. How long does it take? The whole mortgage. So from me coming to see you, ideally, for you find me a mortgage and then the application. How long are you looking for that kind of?
So what's process? How long does a dip take?
A dip, takes anywhere.
DIP, for anyone that's like me, is a
Decision in principle.
So
It's a certificate that says you can get that type of mortgage that you'll present to an estate agent.
right. Okay.
Yeah, so to put offers on property. So they vary from 10 minutes, half an hour, depending on lender.
So
if
I come into you Monday morning, first thing, have an appointment with you, Paddy, you then write all your notes up, pass it to Adam. When would I realistically find out that I can get a mortgage?
Go on and tell them exactly what you do, because there's loads you do.
Yeah, so essentially they have the appointment advisor. The advisor does a quick bit of research, we'll say quick research to do for them, say, right, this is the best fit for you. Send them the research, the client says yes, happy with that. What's the next step? So to do a decision principle, we always need ID. For them to have to do ID checks, just to check that they are who they are, basically. And then it then gets put in the queue in the system for a decision principle to be done. 9 times out of 10, they're normally done the same day. But it depends, again, how busy we are, because it might be 10, 15 applications to go one day. So, that's the priority. If a decision principle comes in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but there's still 5 apps to go.
Yeah.
The application will go
that's
first.
Understandable. So it's not...
Normally within
for some
24
reason
hours.
In my head, it's like weeks.
Yeah, no, not at all. No, it's normally done within 24 hours.
Right.
It's very rare.
So it's a really quick turnaround. But like you say, that could be...
But the ID checks he's done, that's presuming it goes right.
Yeah, exactly. So say if we're thinking roughly 24 hours, I mean, how long could it then stretch into days or weeks?
It could do, yes. I mean,
Because you're waiting for someone to come back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, sometimes clients take a while to send ID across to us, or they will send it to us. We come across a lot as well that sort of clients who might have moved back home with their parents, for example, because they have to buy their new first house. They don't change their driving licence address. Okay. So, and part of the ID checks, the address has to match where they're currently living. Same with full mortgage applications as well. So we might then have to either ask them to then send in further proof, so a passport, or a verify them via using their bank.
And if you could be contacting someone or leaving a voicemail if they're at work first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
They get home, straight back into it with the kids and stuff when they get home, forget about it. Remember the next day, I'll have to do that when I get home. And I suppose life gets in the way for the person.
Absolutely, yeah.
But in the meantime, you've got that's another job that you still have to get done and put in with your workload. So it's it's external factors.
Yeah, a lot of it is.
But an important one. Because we're nationally, we've got to know who our customers are. But if you came in and that was your scenario, I know who you are. I know it's you, but we still potentially couldn't progress. Now, the luxury Adam has there is with an agreement in principle that we don't, by the regulators' guidelines, need to identify the customer at that stage. But as a company, we choose to, because why wouldn't you? But if it was a problem gaining that acceptance for the what's called the URU system, you are you. So as in
you are you.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Then it's probably going to have a knock-on effect at the application. So you're just going to get a decline at DIP, or you're going to.
So you try and do.
Because the lender's going to have that confusion. Yeah. The lender's going to use the same.
And the most,
get the recognition. So it's like they'll ring me after Adam's done all the hard work and go, Paddy, thanks so much. And Adam's like a secret. He's honestly, he's like that central defender that does everything on the pitch but doesn't score the goal, so he doesn't get the recognition. We make a joke about it because sometimes the only reason that person's got a mortgage is because whilst Adam was keying the application, he put in that word with the BDM, he had the chat with the guys on the telephone. They had an anomaly because the bank account maybe was overdrawn on their credit profile, but we had proof that it wasn't. And Adam's able to put that through in a human touch.
He's fixing a lot of things.
Yeah, without a doubt. Adam firefights. He does absolutely everything. He can check a file. He can prep for the insurance appointment. He can do the quotes. He can do the compliance. Adam's a bit of an all-rounder.
So if anyone's listening and they're going to put a review in, you've just sorted their mortgage, I think you need to name drop Adam a bit now
thanks everyone.
before he goes. Get in there.
I think we now and again we get a review and it mentions Adam and we
cross it out.
Well, you do.
Yeah. Just change it. I've just got a little
but it is typical, isn't it? But the thing
fine.
is, like Adam is like he's almost robotic, so he'll do that and then he'll move straight on to the next one, and then the next one, and in between that, I'll throw him maybe he's a pile of pay slips and say, could you just break those down, run them through the affordability calculators. We're quite apt on technology, so it's not like Adam's ringing every lender and doing the same affordability calculator. We invest in a system that would tell us what everyone would do.
But it's still got to be done. Someone's got to do it.
It's still a massive task to do just that.
But for you and the advisors, I take it's a godsend to have someone like that.
Like taking a power planner on is a no-brainer for me. Even if you are just going to be a one-man band, you as an advisor, your skills, certainly mine, are advising. The admin and paperwork side of it is something that I need to pass on to someone who's better than me, and doing that between Laura and Adam is an absolute key.
Right.
That's why losing Adam's it's crap.
I was just about
there's probably
this down. So is it going to be a big miss?
Yeah, absolutely. There's probably no better power planner in the UK than Adam.
When it comes to nice, isn't it?
A mortgage power planner. If you could just make Adam, if we could clone him and have lots of babies of Adam running out. Maybe not babies, but we would want little mini Adams. Just like as an advisor, if I wanted to grow my team, we'd want to have clones of me, Chris, and Charlotte. But it is that's from experience. But there's either that progression of like I did. I joined the army. Adam, he's leaving the industry. Others going into advising and having a power planner work for you. Yeah, which is where I'm at now. And the thought of doing an agreement in principle with the application. Like it would take me an hour, and that's being generous, to do something that Adam does in 15. So why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, it's key. It is something you can train. Adam he wasn't born a power planner.
No, but you'll need certain qualities, don't you? It's like anything. You need
patience.
Yeah,
you need a lot of patience.
Yeah, imagine. I mean, it's not the part of the thing. Busy.
You can have the qualification, but you're not signing it off. And it's definitely a rule that every mortgage advisor should take before they even think about it. Okay. No one should just jump straight into advising, because you learn so much by doing the basics of keying an application. Also the firefighting, but like Adam could do it in his sleep. And as you're doing those 40 applications, so as Alice will do next month on a run, she'll do 50 to 60 applications. Right. Within that is experience, because she's gonna get a flavour particular profile when she's looking at those four pieces of A4 paper with details of the client's income on, where that's going to go before she's even opened up to look at the system, because she'll eventually, like, you'll get a feel for it, won't you? Yeah. For sale to buy, first time buyer. Adam knows it's going to be one in the top 4. We won't mention the names, but I'm interested, Adam. We won't be naming and shaming the bad ones. It's a waste of time because I know who it is. But like off pod, when a customer comes in, you open that file and you see it's with a lender. Who's the top 3 where you think easy system, easy process, good system.
Nationwide, Halifax, and TSB.
Right.
I would say.
So when you say good lender, good system, is that because they'll welcome all different types of people, do you mean? Or are their systems easy to use, or...?
It's probably a mix of both. So, I mean, I think that them three systems are probably the easiest ones in the industry. I mean, a lot of other lenders use TSB system as well.
All right.
I think, from a personal point of view, whenever we've had new starters come in, for example, we always start with Nationwide because their system has been consistent since I've been in this industry. They've always had the same system. I think it's one of them things that if it's not broke, don't fix it, sort of thing. Yeah. And it's just so simple and easy to manoeuvre and navigate. And the same with actually for Halifax is similar to that as well. It's very simple. The system's very simple to pick up.
But they're so different, aren't they?
Oh, 100% they are different, yeah.
It is crazy that they haven't all just adapted one set format that could fit all, but we almost wouldn't want them to either.
No.
So, Adam, who of a lender that the average customer wouldn't know, whose system is up there with them?
Probably... trying to think now. To be fair, they like Kent Reliance.
Yeah.
Actually, their system's not too bad.
So Kent Reliance are a specialist lender.
Yeah.
If I put your mortgage with them, you'd say who. And these systems are bloody expensive, you know. So TSB, one of your favourites, they had a... Did they have a bad system? I can't remember.
They did previously.
They had a bad system. Okay, let's say they had a bad system. They invested in a new one pre-lockdown. And what happened was they had Halifax's system.
They did.
Is that right?
How does that work?
They just did. So so Lloyd's banking group, which was TSB, Halifax, same company.
All right, so they're under
C&G,
you know,
all those.
Yeah.
So they had the same system. TSB obviously wanted to move away from them because TSB intermediaries are completely separate from like Lloyd's, as you would think. And in any way, they moved away. But I can't remember, one of the BDMs, Andy Lee's, I'll name drop him because he's probably one of the best BDMs I've ever worked with. He told us how much they'd spent on this, invested. And if you think of how much I've invested in my application, you're talking, I'd $1 million onto that, you know what I mean? And I'm talking millions, so like, God knows, 200 million or something, whatever they into the system. And this system that they amalgamated all their existing customers over to and new customers, what happened was it didn't work, did it?
No,
it was brilliant, but didn't work. So every mortgage application we did for about a 6-month period.
What, the new system didn't
work? Right, didn't work. But luckily for customers, what happened was it looked good, it was pretty, and Adam's dips went flying through and all this. So the customers got the mortgage, got the keys, moved in. It didn't link back with the banking side of their system. So they designed something that was great, but on the payment side, it couldn't, and the existing customer side, it couldn't do anything. So for 9 months, TSB weren't able to take payments from these customers' mortgages.
What? So they managed to give them the money?
Yeah. Give them $100,000 mortgage. Couldn't. So say your payment was 500 quid a month, yeah? You're going to have 100, well, at the moment, you're going to have 250 quid interest, 250 quid coming off your capital. So in those 9 months, there wasn't a single penny taken out of the account. So the first month, the customer rings up, hasn't gone out yet. You think, well, as a mortgage advisor, that's not unusual because it could be 6 weeks later. They would normally write to you to tell you when your first payment's going to be. First payment won't necessarily be the contractual payment. It might be a pro rata payment, so you might pay a month plus those 15 days of the 45 period you've not paid, 45-day period you've not paid. Whereas TSB, so they did that, they rang up and they speak to us, and we can't help them. We can't control them once they're an existing customer, so they go back to TSB. When's my payment going to get taken? There's an issue, don't worry about it, we'll fix it. 9 months later, we didn't actually really start to realise until 2 years later, we're speaking to new customers about their new mortgage. So we'd speak to them 6 months before. So in theory, we were speaking to them 18 months later. Yeah. And we'd say, right, what's your balance of your mortgage? So what TSB did was they had £500 a month from a customer that they never took. It wasn't the customer's fault. So they actually credited that £500 a month to their accounts 9 months later. So even though the customer didn't pay it, they also reduced the interest. They could have just waived it and said, okay, there's no, and they also took the capital off the balance.
So for X amount of months,
9
they got
months.
free,
no mortgage payments. But what some
that
customers
system, like, don't we?
don't we? Like honestly, if you knew that was because it was to the point
But
it was
for
happening.
someone as big as them,
But it was happening whilst we knew that cases that were going to complete, we weren't allowed to say it to a customer. We weren't allowed to say you're not going to pay your mortgage payments.
Yeah,
But we knew, and like honestly, it was just crazy. But some customers might be insensible and put that £500 aside and then overpaid it.
well,
Some might
tough,
have just
depends.
some might have got used to it, and then 9 months later they've suddenly got this expense out there. But the good thing is that TSB did that, but like that cost them a lot more millions.
Yeah.
You know?
So they ditched the system, I take.
No, they're still using now, and actually, like Adam said there,
It works. This is the new system.
a lot
It's
of-
actually working.
a lot of people, a lot of banks have bought into TSB's system without this hiccup that they learned. But it just shows you, though, it's like these things can happen, and if that can happen, what else can happen? And that was something they took on the chin, and that they swallowed that whole loss to the customer. But there'll be times where the system might just, in COVID, you put a decision in principle with a bank, and that bank didn't want to take any more applications. They'd already spent their quota on that product. Even if you were perfect and had £1 million a month coming in, it would decline because the product wasn't there. And we had banks. We employed someone who came from one of the banks. We spoke to the BDMs, and all it was a case of the turning it off. But they weren't able to tell us. So we were replying, and it was declining. So you were getting no, and you were thinking why.
Yeah.
So Adam's had to go through all of that with like COVID and the dips and what lenders do and what. And it was, I mean, I can't name lenders because I don't want to be.
No.
I'm not talking exact facts here, but you'd switch from one, and once you knew that they were starting to decline, you went to the other one.
Yeah.
Because every broker was putting it to this rate, which was the best. Bearing in mind, there was no such thing as 95% mortgages during COVID. It all dropped down to about 85, if not 80. So everyone kind of switched to the same lenders at the time. Then that pot of cash ran out, and then you moved to the next one. So a lot of these things that Adam's saying that's out of his control are out of everyone's control.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
So it's not like you could just say.
And when you said there, you said like, for instance, TSB. So you found someone and you've pointed them towards TSB. They've gone with them.
Yeah.
And you said they're now kind of locked in with them. I can't remember the words that you actually said.
So if you have a fixed rate, you'll be with them for 2 years whilst you're on that fixed rate. You could stay with them for the rest of your time, but that discount period on your payments.
Does that mean how do the customers come back to you? And do TSB not then just contact the customers directly and say, look, you're with us?
I think
Or does that not happen now?
They definitely do.
They do, yeah. I think they're contractually obliged to do that.
Right.
They normally send them a letter within 3 or 4 months, I think, of their current fixed rate coming to an end. Because we will contact clients anyway, sort of about 6 months before anyway, just say, like, your fixed rate's due to end on this date. So we will start the process. Sometimes, we'll do a remortgage or a product transfer for clients. And then let's, for example, say they're going for a product transfer. We've processed it through with the lender's system, so it's all in place. But then we still get emails from clients, a month or two before saying, we've had a letter come through.
Right, okay.
Have you actually done this? We're saying, but the lender has to legally send out this letter to them to say that your fixed rate's coming to an end.
And on that letter, they would say that you should also obtain like kind of mortgage advice from a whole of market intermediary.
Oh, right.
Or at least towards that effect.
Like that.
Because they can't give whole of market advice because they're only talking about their products. But yeah, to be honest, they encourage us to contact their clients that we put the mortgages with them because they know that they're going to be competitive, and it's a very nature of the person that keeps them with that lender. And if nothing's changing and the rate's competitive, and they've enjoyed the experience with them, and they won't get 9 months free every time.
No,
but
I'll tell you what, if that happened to me, you'd try it someday.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. No, it's obviously going back to like power planning and that. It's obviously a massively important, massively busy, and varied task. But then you moved on from that.
Prep
grow again. At the moment, it's kind of batten down the hatches, doing the basics. But we were getting a lot of, and we still are doing a lot of media, and we get opportunities where I can't spread myself out there. So, for example, I go to do the military camps. An estate agent might want to contact us about working with us. And one of our first estate agents we came on board with was Dowan's Estate Agents in the Northeast, which is where Adam now lives. I'm from Durham. Of course, we can speak to them on the phone, but the reality is, why wouldn't a local mortgage broker, or why wouldn't Down's Estate Agents use a local mortgage broker that's on their doorstep? You know, so really, Adam was the face of PGS over there, face of PGS with estate agents.
So again, another.
It's a role, but you know what? It was more of a, and Adam won't mind me saying this. There was a time pre-COVID where you were going through this thought process again, weren't you?
Yeah.
It was like, look, worked in the industry for that long that he just wanted to do something else. But COVID hit, and I think it made everyone kind of, well, for Adam it would have actually changed your job a bit.
Yeah.
And so to give you a fresh injection of, wow, I'm working from home and this works. And then how long since COVID? What are we on now? Two and a bit years. Yeah. And I think it's just like that thing that it just stays with him, and like that's the kind of right time to move on.
Can you see yourself coming back into the industry in the future, do you think?
Good question.
That is a good question. Personally, no.
No.
I think it's...
Money talks.
I think it's one of them industries where I think when a lot of people come out of it, they don't tend to go back in. I think once you've done it, you've done it. I mean, some people do. I mean,
I did.
Paddy did. I technically did. I mean, for a short while, when I did this back when I lived in Norfolk, before when I moved up to Cumbria, I went to work for a car dealership, just doing admin there for a few months, then came here. So I went back into financial services. But it is that sort of industry where I think, you know, you've had a lot of years. I mean, you know, some people say it for life, you know, they'll do it from the beginning and then stay until they retire, and that's it. But I think it is, for me personally, I probably won't come back into industry.
It's a big breakaway, isn't it? If that's
you definitely wouldn't come back to power planning, would you?
No, definitely not, no.
Paddy needs to invest in a new business and get you in. Do something different then. Or PA, someone working at home organising your life or something.
No, I think as we grow, when we advertise for different roles, which we're not going to do for quite some time, we've learned a lot this last year and built with the system and even the physical building about our team and productivity and what's important. And I think sometimes you can react quickly to maybe taking on too many staff before you're ready. So I'm just learning. I'm new to this. Adam's always been quite good at that, actually. Always in my ear to say, are you sure? Are you right? When I'm feeling negative about things and maybe he's not wanting to grow it, he'd give us my wise words. We've worked quite well with that.
So I have to use him as a consultant now.
And also, if you can imagine, Adam's got to train this power planner. He's done it for that long. He's taken on he's advertised the role. He's interviewing people. He's not going to take someone on that's going to give him like harder work to do. Like he knows if that person's going to get it. But I think as we grow, there'll be different roles within PGS. Like there is a point where you need a compliance officer, which is Laura's job. Yeah, but Laura does a million other things. There's definitely a role of a business development manager. Yeah, there's a role of mortgage advisor. There's a role of power planner. And then there's probably marketing. So there's loads of different jobs that will come up within PGS itself. And we'll always like rely on Adam in terms of just on the socials and friendship, because he'll know people that he's talking to in different industries that he's met along the way. And when Adam says, "Oh, this person would be ideal," then we know we can take that not just with a pinch of salt. You know? So I think Adam will always be like a big part of PGS. He's always going to be welcome to come on Christmas dues and things like that. But it's one of those where I get it. Like power planning, it's actually the hardest job to do with the littlest reward, because you go back to the start of the process. You don't follow it through. Adam doesn't do anything at the back end because he's done all that hard work there. So actually he moves on to the next person's journey, which is really exciting. But actually at the back end, he doesn't get to see that. So it's a very limited time
He's
scale.
not getting the face-to-face at the start where you're building that relationship as well. He's kind of faceless with it all, isn't he?
Yeah, and it is that middle bit where he does so much in that space, but on the whole conveyor belt, he's limited, whereas an advisor, technically, we're there all the way through. Laura, certainly all the way through. The admin side, as in the guys who take the calls, they may speak to the same customer every week, whereas Adam would concentrate on his time in that particular area and move on. So I get it where it could be the point where you think, you know what, I've done my stint now and I need to move on. That's the sad thing about a power planner role is you're always going to, I think, lose them at some point. And if they do stick it out and they're a lifer, then fantastic. But I can see how that could be kind of one of those jobs where you think, I want something else now.
Yeah. No, but it's a testament, as I said earlier, to sort of both of you. It's how the relationship you've built through doing this. Obviously, you know, Paddy's saying what a big miss you've been, and you as well. Like, you're giving your all right to the end of it and still having to now train up the new fresh blood.
I think it's helped so because it's sort of, when I came on board 6 years ago, it was literally just me, Paddy and Laura.
Yeah. He turned up in double denim.
It wasn't double denim.
It was not double. Honestly, double denim with cowboy boots and a cowboy hat.
Nice.
Me and Laura looked at each other. He walked through the door and we thought, hired straight away. Didn't get him in. Right up our street, that was.
So if you want to be a power planner,
that's what we say anyway. But no, he clicked with Laura, and I mean, Laura, that'll be a big miss for Laura as well. But that's what we're trying to build around it. We build a team that it is a stressful, shitty job at sometimes, and the customers never see that because they're in their own dream.
Yeah.
So Adam doesn't get the pat on the back from the customer that he maybe's needed to the effort that he put in. But it might also just be that your application was the simplest one of the day, but it was off the back of 5 horrific ones. So the fact that he even had the energy to put yours through is where he deserves that pat on the back, which no one, quite rightly, would ever think to give it. But I think power planners within this industry are definitely one of the, absolutely, going back to suits, underestimated roles, underappreciated roles. The only people that appreciate a power planner as much as they should is the advisors. That's a given, because you wouldn't work your ass off for an advisor if he was being if he wasn't being appreciative.
No, that's good. That's good. And again, it's kind of cemented what we said at the start of the podcast about last time, where it's not as cutthroat as you would imagine.
No.
You know, I've worked in many different sort of jobs where you wouldn't sort of, I don't know, you don't leave amicably and stuff like that, you know. And even talking to my wife, she's a teacher, and like you tell people months and months in advance that you're thinking about leaving and moving on to a different thing, and everything's done quite amicably in the same way as it is in this industry. It sounds quite, I don't know, just different to what you would think.
It doesn't have to be. I've worked in the industry where I've been in the bank, City Financial, and I've wanted to just throw my towel in. I'm sure Adam's had times like that. But I think it's just like, you've just got to talk. And I think if you're having a bad day because you've had 5 brick walls, you take a breather. And I think having the luxury of working from home might give Adam that. Like, you might just go outside and like give you grass a cut and get back to it. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's nothing wrong with that. Like I say, it is one of the most underestimated and underappreciated roles, but not to the people that know what they're doing. If you came in as a power planner, you know what you're getting yourself into. When you see a power planner, you think suits and Meghan Markle. I'm going to give you 3 minutes,
right?
So to give a couple of, give them. Let's call it 2.
Quick fire.
Go on then.
Right. Best part of your career here. Best part of being a power planner or business development manager. What's been the most fulfilling to you?
Christmas Mays.
Yeah, the Christmas parties.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, no, they're cracking them ones. But no, I think probably sort of helping clients along the highest buying journey. You know, it's the advisors do the advice and recommend the products, but you know, when you get the accept through for decision principle and the application submitted and it's accepted, you know, yes, it's only the hard work has just begun essentially.
Yeah,
but you know, it's a next step for them getting their dream home. And I think that's probably quite a good job satisfaction when it does go right. It's brilliant. But then equally, the worst thing is when it goes wrong. It goes wrong. You're just thinking, why do I do this for?
But then I suppose you're solving the problem.
Yeah.
Problems come up, you've just got to solve the problem and go back to start and go through it again.
Basically.
What's Paddy's worst parts? I wrote down worst traits, we should say.
Terrible handwriting.
Terrible handwriting. Yeah. Voice notes.
No, I think they're alright actually. Voice notes. I mean, it might be different for you. It's probably different for you. It's probably on purpose for you.
Adam does as he's told. Barry doesn't. That's the difference.
That's the difference.
Fight the system. There's an ongoing thing on these podcasts where Paddy likes these little analogies, and he hasn't brought it up this time, but he always goes on about builders for some reason. And if you get a builder, you get a builder in. I take it you've had to put up with like all these little, you know, these little kind of traits that everyone's got here, all these little personalities. So what are you going to miss the most?
I think I'm probably going to miss the banter. We have, you know, I think people have a perception of financial service industries like mortgage advisors, anything like that. They're all sort of, you know, stuffy men in suits and briefcases and all that. And it really isn't here. And I think that's what makes this different to other companies in the sense that, you know, we all know it can be stressful at times, and it can, you know, it's the industry, it is. But, you know, we're all good friends and we're like a little family here. And I think that's the biggest thing that I'm going to miss is, you know, we'll just get on well with each other. And
it's good. And obviously keep on with that one, your friends.
Oh, 100%, you know, made friends for life here. So, you know, that's the biggest thing, 100%.
It's good to go, and I wish you all the best, mate. I really do.
No, thank
you. We're off. We're having a bit of an ease up in a couple of weeks. A couple of hours off work during work time to show Adam my appreciation. He's cracking with a couple of glasses of wine. I tell you, we've got some stories. We'll talk about them in the future podcast
on that.
When he's not here. But I think
do a live podcast.
I think we
I'll get my lawyers ready.
we threw this myth in. It doesn't really exist. The mortgage advisor definitely works the hardest, but we did it just for Adam as a testament to Adam and appreciating what he does for the company. But no, today's podcast was what was it, Baz?
It was the mortgage advisor is the one that does all the work.
So we busted that. It was everyone knows. We don't even pretend to customers that the mortgage advisor is the grafter.
Yeah.
That's part of the way we are. We don't hide from the bits that we do. So we even say it on the appointment. You'll forget who I am. I've done the easy bit. It's my team that's going to get it through. So I think it's quite apt that we did this, and it was nice to have Adam on.
Yeah.
And it just shows that it's not just about us, because we haven't even got on to Laura. We haven't even got on to Bobby and what she does for Joe. And I think it's just testament to the team. And we're sad to see Adam go, but I'm keen to see what he gets up to over the next 10 years of his life. He's just turned 30, moving in over in Durham, my home county. So there's always an excuse for me to get back over there.
Be nice to do a catch up and see how whoever it is you've got as the paraplanner that you've trained up, how they're doing as well, won't it? In the future, get them on.
We'll time that right. A couple of applications for him to do as well, you know.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Get them over when you're busy.
Right, guys, brilliant. As always, look forward to next week's podcast, which again, we never know what we're going to be myth busting.
No.
Thanks for tuning in. As usual, like everyone says on their own podcast, if you can subscribe, spread the word, share it, leave your comments, give us your feedback. And if you could just let us know the exact timings of when Baz did things wrong, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that would be great. And if you could just drop Adam's name in on any reviews.
That would be amazing.
Up until when he leaves.
Baz does the graphics, he'll just remove them anyway. That's clearly what's been happening. Right, thanks for that. Take care, and we'll see you next week.